Hey everybody, Nasal Cactus here. Welcome back to another unboxing video. Got a new setup. Got a few things here. Maybe I'll just show a little bit if I can. Got my stack of cards that I've opened already over here. I have my second booster box, which I'm very excited about here. And then just from some old, these are heavy because they're full of cards, some old stuff that I thought I would show off very quickly. It's not very well organized, but yeah, this is just kind of some random things that I had that I was kind of making like a little bit more of a space for openings. It felt a little more official than just my computer desk. You know, I don't really know how long anybody would like for this to continue, but I thought that it might be kind of cool just to like set the scene a little bit and show a little bit of what we have. This is a little more organized, I guess, in some way. And I think that this looks to be mostly Imperial cards. Just to pull a couple really quick to show them off. So this I've referenced in the past in some other videos was the card game that really, I think, ignited things for Puma and myself. I've been watching online on YouTube somebody opening these old Decipher booster boxes and booster packs for the CCG. He actually opened a third anthology just like this one. And I think that was really what inspired me to go grab these and put them out here. They're a little off camera, but kind of set the scene. You kind of see them right there at the edges of the screen. But yeah, so went and got another booster box, but that is actually not what we are here for today. I wanted to open this. So for those of you that might not know, Puma and I live in the Midwest, and so I was out this past weekend wandering around, and a card shop in a nearby city that we went to had this. And I thought, oh wow, pre-release, that's really interesting. I mean, the card game is out now. I'm recording this like the week after it came out, so pre-release is like a little dated in terms of like when this video will go up, which will probably be even a week from when I'm recording it or sometime around then. But it's still, I was like, I don't generally get in on these types of things this early. And so it could be a fun opportunity to just grab one of these and see what's inside. I was trying to pick between this and a starter deck. And really, when it came down to it, there was just the pre-release aspect of this that stood out. I think it's just more fun to have it. Looking here at the contents, 6 booster packs, 2 pre-release promo cards, 19 counters, 1 quick start rules, a deck building guide, a divider card, and a deluxe deck box. So, not really sure what we could get in these packs. I mean, if they're just straight booster packs like this says, it's pretty much the sort of slot machine that these things can be. So this is fun. I'm looking forward to this, to see what all might come out of it. So I don't want to wait. Let's do this. I also have spent some time looking at card lists. I've spent some time watching other people open booster packs, and I have a little better idea of some of the things to expect coming out of this set. But we can talk about that here in just a second when I am getting into these booster packs. Let's see if I can get this out without cutting my finger open on the edge of the box. So it looks like this is the deck box. Trying to get a look at some of like the etchings on this. Not entirely sure what those are supposed to be. They look kind of like Greeblies almost, from like the the ships, the little things that the guys at ILM would like tack onto the models as they were building them to just add like a little sense of texture and scale to the overall build. But yeah, that's cool. It's got some interesting stuff going on there. Let's look at this first really quick. Okay, so I think this is one, maybe both of the promotional cards. And then here we've got some counters. Looks like damage counters. I will admit I don't fully know what all of these are pertain to yet, because I have not looked at this. I mentioned a little bit in some of the other videos that I'm not really sure how to play this game entirely yet. I'm a little in it for both things at this point. I'm in it for both the collectability aspect, but also the gameplay aspect. And so, yeah, I think like, right now, stuff like this, definitely wanting to build up a collection of cards so that I can start putting decks together and playing and seeing what they do. It's like maybe a weird time, but, for somebody who got into the Decipher game in the 90s, it was really, whether or not I knew it at the time, more collecting the cards because I liked what was on the cards. And I think that game was a little confusing in terms of, at least for, what I was at the time. I was a kid, I liked Star Wars stuff. It wasn't really about the collectability from like I want to save these and make money. I wanted cards that had the Millennium Falcon on it, and I wanted cards that had Luke Skywalker. So, so I think that in collecting those as a kid, I didn't fully get like what I was doing with the game, and I didn't play it very much. So with this one, I don't know if I ever really played it at all. I'm gonna tear this way. I'm sorry if this upsets people, but so with this, I've played some Pokemon. I play it mainly online, admittedly. I'm a little embarrassed to admit that I collect and play with Pokemon cards. And maybe, it's not necessarily that much better to be playing with Star Wars cards, but I don't know. Maybe it's feeling empowered by that other YouTube channel. I'll mention in the edit, and then I'll link him below. I don't know how much he posts anymore. It seems like some of his videos are a little bit older, but it was really them that got me to decide to start doing this. So just some serendipitous timing that this set was coming out around the same time. And they talking on their videos were the ones that talk about they still play the Decipher game. They play with what they call virtualized cards, where even today the cards are updated by people online to like keep them relevant. I mean, that game was like, it went for like 7 years starting in 1995, I think, or something like that. Yep, so here are our promotional cards. I don't know, in looking at these, I guess that is maybe like the promo symbol. Also, only one side is foil. It's just this side. Looking a little bit like Zac Efron in that picture. This side is normal, which is interesting. I'm trying to get like see, this is normal. This side has hollow on it. And the thing about it is they both have a bit of that curve to them as a result. Try and not put any weight on them as I hold them, just to show. Vader's got a little bit more of that curve than Luke does. But, I mean, promotional cards being what they are, it is not the end of the world for them to have a little bit of that going on. I wonder what availability that they have in other promotional items. There is a starter deck, which I do plan on getting an opening on here, that probably has both of them again. So I may end up with a few of those. Unfortunately, already, we do have a Luke. We were able to get a Luke. One more thing in here. This is building a pre-release deck. So it looks like they're trying to encourage you to take from these 6 booster packs and build something meaningful out of it. It looks like a pack must have 1 leader, 1 base, and a minimum of 30 other cards. So each one of these packs is going to come with a leader and a base. So it's really just up to you to decide which ones you want to pull from these 6 and start building from there. And then a minimum of 30 other cards, which, I mean, there are 16 cards per booster pack, and there's 6 of these. So you're definitely going to get enough to play at least a starting game with on your own. And that's if you didn't obviously buy the starter kit as well, that would give you, I think they're 2 completely built decks to just like open and start playing. So yeah, I think that's everything from the start of this. So we can let's break these open. I've watched a little bit on YouTube, really quick. I'm just going to look these guys up on my phone because I want to make sure that I give everybody credit instead of just randomly attributing things and then forgetting even to tell myself to get a hold of them later. The first one, the one that I was talking about, who was opening some of these CCG anthologies, his name is Egar Chow 89 CCGs and more. Like I said, I don't know how much he or they are posting at this point, but it sounded like they had a shop in, somewhere. It sounded like maybe in the upper Midwest. And then the other one was Lothar HS, who I believe streams. What I saw was maybe an excerpt from a stream, but they were opening packs and helped me learn a bit about rarity and about the names of some of these things. So as we go through, I'm going to adapt a little bit and try and correctly attribute things going forward. I also, if you watch the previous videos, a lot of the time I think I was trying to open them almost exclusively like this, and then to start with the leader, because I'm a little used to stuff like Pokemon or Magic, that the rares are usually at the bottom, and the rares are at the bottom here. They're pre-stacked like that. So seeing the leader first is not a huge secret. So it's a little bit easier to just go ahead and rip that band-aid off and start looking at the cards. Chopper's Base, Cloud City Wingguard, Spec Force Soldier, Steadfast Battalion, Cargo Juggernaut, Keep Fighting, Escort Skiff, Gamorrean Guards, and ATST, and 7th Fleet Defender. And now we're getting into the uncommons. Fighters for Freedom, Devotion, card that I really enjoyed since I pulled in the first packs. I think it may have been like the very first pack. Bamboozle, and we have a legendary. So I'll try and write down what the legendary odds are. I want to say it's like 1 in every 7 packs or something. So our legendary, Aggression, Innate. This was one that I saw on the card list and was pretty surprised by, because looking into these so far, a lot of them, and I talked about this in previous videos, there's so many Rogue One and like prequel era characters and cards in this. To have a Kylo Ren card was like a little surprising, because I feel like there's not a ton of like, especially sequel trilogy stuff in this. And for anyone that's paid attention, I got very excited over some cards in the previous packs, because I thought it meant that maybe there would be some Shadows of the Empire stuff in here. There's not. But I think that the next expansion of this game is coming out relatively soon. And then our foil for the pack, common Spec Force Soldier, which we already got one. of those in this. So nothing crazy, but again, if you follow me in the other videos, which I'll be sure to just keep promoting and talking about endlessly, I talked a lot about what I called anime lines. I've since found out that that is what they consider the hyperspace cards. They're basically borderless cards. Grand Thrawn, a rare leader. It's a pretty good way to start out a pack. Have one of them already, but still, you love to see it. Command Center. We'll see if we get a hyperspace in any of these. They feel like they're relatively common, so I would be surprised if I didn't get one. Alliance Dispatcher, Snowspeeder. Getting a handful of those, so definitely can build up a Hoth Echo Base deck if that's even something to build. Oh, I see a hyperspace coming up. It may be our last common. So Frontier ATRT, Syndicate Lackeys, and it is in fact our last common card. And I think that I have one of these, and it may be a foil one. So they're not anime lines. It's hyperspace, which makes absolute sense now that I'm, of course, through an entire booster box, that I finally figure out the most obvious thing possible, that anime lines are not that, they are hyperspace. It looks like we're going to hyperspace. Tried to incorporate that into the thumbnail, at least a little bit, because, thematic tie-ins or whatever. Attack Pattern Delta, Force Throw, AT-AT Suppressor. We have a rare coming up, Redemption. A familiar rare that we have gotten in the past. I'm running out of room. I want to try and keep everything separate because I've seen some other people opening cards like that, and I thought that it was very smart to kind of like bring everything into their own little piles so that we can kind of assess later on. Oh, we have a hyperspace common First Legion Stormtrooper, or Snowtrooper, sorry. So, yeah. Hyperspace foil. That rainbow effect is so cool. Alright, where should we put you? We'll move some things around. Put the leaders right there. I did also get a game mat, so I hope I'm not triggering people by like sliding cards around on a softer surface. It's hopefully a little more conducive to keeping things protected. And I do have sleeves up here. I'm trying to go a little more ham on all of this to like, keep things protected and organized and in good shape. We have a common IG-88 as our leader right there. As long as I don't rip him up in the process of trying to show him off. We got a hyperspace base though, which is cool. What was his name? Lothar HS, I think. I think he was saying that like the hyperspace cards are pretty common, and they seem like they're pretty common. The card that is like the chase in all of these are called showcase cards, which are hyperspace. They're like borderless, but they're basically alternate art of the leaders. So they'll have a really unique style to them, where like instead of having on like these on the back, we'll have like IG-88 off to the side for like the normal ones. The showcase ones are like borderless, and the card text boxes are like in different areas. And it's an alt, I think it's an alt art. I think it's like an actual different image of that leader. They're like 1 in every 12 boxes. So they are very rare. And I don't think that I'm going to get one out of a pre-release 6-pack. You never know, though. I mean, I guess we could hope. Now we're into our uncommons. Shoot First, Bright Hope, and Force Choke. Just the 3. Oh, I probably went through those a little too fast. I don't know why the camera is struggling, but it is. There we go. So we have a rare coming up, Count Dooku, a face we've seen before, but still happy to have him around. Separate those out. So they got the legendary and the rare. So Count Dooku will go with the rare, and then a foil common to round things out. Swoop Racer. Yeah, there's a foil line on that too, isn't there? Did I? No, I'm not imagining that. It's tough to see. The camera will focus. Let's bring it a little closer. Maybe that will. It's tough to see. I've noticed this. There you go. Can see it right through the rake of that Swoop Racer bike. I've seen, and Lothar even pointed that out with a couple of foils that he got, and just having that, and even mentioning that Pokemon cards from time to time will have those lines through them. It's just a printing error. It's unfortunate, but these things happen. Director Krennic as a common leader. Capital City is our base. Can go on top of the hyperspace Capital City. Occupier Siege Tank. Gladiator Star Destroyer. Vanquish. Partisan Insurgent. Tactical Advantage. Guardian of the Wills. Rogue Operative. Volunteer Soldier. Disarm, and now we are into the uncommons. TIE Advanced. I don't know if I've gotten this yet. It's cool. You can go right on top of Vader. Distant Patroller. Cartel Spacer. Seen this one before. I think I made the comment last time that it looks a lot like a Destiny 2 ship, which feels a little weird in a Star Wars pack. All right, we got a rare coming up. Don't Get Cocky. Gambit. Choose a unit, one at a time. Reveal cards from your deck until you choose to stop or have revealed 7 cards. Don't know that mechanic. I don't know. I kept hearing people refer to these numbers as mana and things like that. Again, that quick start guide is going to be very helpful. We have a common foil, Steadfast Battalion, to round things out. All right, 2 more packs from this. I love the way that these wrappers open. They're so nice. They're like we have a hyperspace leader. Damn it. Sorry, darn it, dang it, whatever. So hyperspace, Director Krennic. Not a showcase, unfortunately. Again, super, super rare. But another one of these, the hyperspace borderless. And I think on the Director Krennic, I got a little ahead of myself. I see something down there. Kestro City as the base, but those showcases, they are worth something on TCG Player, according to their website anyway. Some of those, like I think Boba Fett is probably the one that's going for the most still at this point, which I guess makes some sense. But it looked like there was the one that I kept seeing the preview image for was Leia, which would be cool to have. But, there's Leia, Chewie, Luke, Darth Vader, Krennic, Thrawn. There's a lot. There's several. And there may be one for every single leader. I don't know, but that would be my guess. All right, coming up on another hyperspace common, Resilient, which we had seen before, right after I was talking about the Snowspeeder deck. Into the uncommons, 97th Legion. Forced Surrender, followed immediately by a hyperspace Forced Surrender. That's kind of funny. I'm not separating the hyperspaces out just yet. I'll do that later. And we have a rare coming up, Bendu. I've seen this card pop up a couple of times, and I think I mentioned the last time, I don't really know who Bendu is. And I guess if there was like one thing that I would like to see from, I think it's Fantasy Flight games, some like era or something on these cards. I wish the camera would like catch up. What are you doing here? Trying to show off this card. So you've got all this information down here at the bottom. The artist, you have the foil their copyrights, and then I guess that's Spark of Rebellion, English, and the card number. And just so you know, there are 252 cards in this entire set, which is a lot of cards. We have a foil uncommon coming up, Cantina Bouncer. Not a super exciting card to end that off of, but you know, they can't all be winners. And in fact, I don't think that a ton of these have been winners out of this pre-release box, but you know, that is also why get the booster box, so that there can hopefully be something in those. Chewbacca, common leader. Another hyperspace base, this time chopper base. So yeah, those seem pretty common to get. Speaking of commons, Wilderness Fighter, Open Fire, Restored Arc 170, Infiltrator Skill, Battlefield Marine, Make an Opening, Lothal Insurgent, Confiscate. Coming up on another hyperspace here. What I'm thinking, or what I've noticed, is that the hyperspace common is usually the last of those, and if that last pack was any indication, I think maybe the hyperspace uncommon is the last uncommon. So let's see what we got here. Recruit. Seen that card before, but I like that artwork. Getting into the uncommons now. Smuggling Compartment, Admiral Piet, Force Throw again, and a rare. No legendary in the last one. We only got the one legendary so far, but I guess that probably tracks if it's like one in every, maybe it's one in every 6. I don't remember. Force Throw leads us to Electro Staff. I actually don't think I've had this card yet. I think this is a new one, which is cool. Nice to kind of end things on a unique card, and a foil uncommon to finish out the pre-release box. So overall, I mean, look, I think that was a pretty decent opening. Got a nice smattering of cards, and this seems like it's exactly what you would expect for what would effectively be a way to start the game. You know, you walk away from this, I think it cost even a few bucks less than the starter deck did. Now, granted, in the starter decks, you get 2, whereas this, you would probably only walk away with like enough to put together 1 deck. So that's a bit of a downside, but you know, if you're looking to just start one up on your own, I think this is a pretty solid way to do so. And you get some interesting cards out of it in the process. Oh, I did separate that one out. But I'm going to go through these and sleeve up some stuff. And next time we see you, I think we'll be opening up the booster box and getting started on that. I had done the last time like 4 packs at a time, because there are so many in here. That it was nice to kind of like break it up like that. And even with that, I was taking my sweet time. So it was like 20 minutes per video. So if you watch those, really appreciate you sticking around through that and going on this journey with me and seeing what this card set has to offer. I'm looking forward to keep opening these, and yeah, we'll see if we can pull anything good in the next one.